Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss paper 4-2 of February March 2023, that is paper 4 mechanics paper. Now these are the instructions we have to follow and the formula sheet will be given to us. Uh, let's move on to the question number 1. A crate of mass 200 kg is being pulled at constant speed along horizontal ground by a, now this is an important point, that constant speed and the mass is 200 kg along a horizontal ground by a horizontal rope attached to a winch. Okay, the winch is working at a constant rate of 4.5 kg, 4.5 kilowatt, and there is a constant resistance to the motion of the crate of magnitude 600 Newton. Find the time that it takes for the crate to move a distance of 15 meter. Now we can see we have to find out the time and the distance of for the distance of 15 meters. Now first of all, let's draw the diagram. A crate of 200 kg mass. Now here we can see that for the find the time that it takes for the crate, only crate, to move a distance of 15 meters. It means initially the crate was at this point. तो यहाँ से ये 15 मीटर का डिस्टेंस कवर करना है क्रेट ने, और ये इसकी फाइनल डेस्टिनेशन है. नाउ एज इट इज़ मूविंग टूवर्ड्स दिस साइड, और इसकी जो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स है क्रेट पे, जो कांस्टेंट रेजिस्टेंस है, वो हमारे पास 600 न्यूटन है. इट मीन्स के फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स, ये कांस्टेंट रेजिस्टेंस की जो मूवमेंट है वो बैकवर्ड है. नाउ एज वी कैन सी that, let's write the given data, that is mass is 200 kg, then we have power, that is 4.5 kilowatt, then we can convert it like this should be 4,500 watts. Then we know the formula for the power is P is equals to W by T, and then we can write it as W is equals to P into T. Now we can use the formula for the work done by the driving force. So we can write that the formula is work done by the driving force will be equals to work done against the frictional force plus rate of change of kinetic energy plus rate of change, not rate, change in kinetic energy, change in potential energy. Now we can write it as, now as we know that there is a constant acceleration, which means that rate of change will be, this will be equals to 0, this will be equals to 0. Okay, and then work done by the driving force, this should be equals to P into T. Now P into T is equals to, now work done by the frictional force, so this should be equals to frictional force F into D. Now here just put the values, so 4,500 T will be equals to 600 into distance is 15 meters. So from here we can say that we can use the calculator. Now this will be equals to, T will be equals to 600 into 15 divided by 4500 divided by 4500 divided by 4500. So this will be equals to 2. So we can say that the time here will be equals to 2 seconds. This will be the final answer. Now let's see, we can have another method that is we can use F is equals to ma, and as we can see that forward force minus backward force. So forward force is driving force minus frictional force. Frictional force is equals to ma, and as we can see in the question, there is a constant speed, so which means acceleration should be equals to 0. So driving force will be equals to, so driving force is, now driving force will be equals to frictional ma plus frictional force, and here from here we can see, as we can see that acceleration is 0, so this portion will be 0, and frictional force is 600 Newton. Now please keep this thing in your mind that you are not required, you are not, no need for this working, because no need to show this working, because for constant speed forward force is equals to the backward force. As we can see that there is a constant force, so that is why we can directly write driving force is equals to the forward force is equals to the backward force. Now from here we can say that P will be equals to, we can use this formula that P will be equals to W into D divided by T. So simply we can just put the values. So we will get T will be equals to, W is 600 and distance is 15 divided by power is 4500. So we can use the calculator. So 600 into 15 divided by 4500, it will give the same, it will give us the same answer, that will be 2. So time will be 2 seconds. So this will be the second method, but you can see that the answer will remain same. So it is totally up to you that कौन सा method आप solve कर use करना चाहें. It is totally up to you. Let's move on to the next part. Now the rope breaks after the crate has moved 15 meters. Find the time taken after the rope breaks for the crate to come to the rest. These are the key points which we need to highlight. Now rope breaks, what does this statement means? Rope breaks means that there is no forward force. No forward force, and similarly comes to rest means that the final velocity will be equals to 0. Now let's see the case here, that this will be the diagram. Now we can see that 0 Newton force, and the backward force will be what? Will be 600 Newton, as we can see in the previous. Now this is the backward force, 600 Newtons. Now we can use, we have to find out the time first. So for time, let's write the data first, that Vf will be equals to 0, and we don't know the initial speed. So for constant speed, what we have to do? for constant speed, we can write it as that speed will be equals to distance divided by time. So as we can see that in the previous part we have find out the distance. So initial speed will be equals to distance is 15 and time is 2, as we have find it out in the previous part. So this will be 7.5 meters per second. So now Vf is equals to 0 and Vi is equals to 7.5. Now what about we can find out the acceleration or not? So let's see. So for acceleration, we know that when forces are constant, acceleration will be constant. Acceleration will be constant. Now what does it mean? It means that we can find out the acceleration as using the F is equals to ma. So as we can see that there is no forward force, so 0 minus 600 will be equals to mass. Mass is, what about the mass? Mass was 200 kg. So this should be equals to 200 into A, and hence the acceleration will be equals to 600 negative 600 divided by 200. Acceleration will be equals to minus 3 meters per second square. Now we can say that acceleration is negative 3 meters per second square. So from here we can say this is the data. Now we have to find out the time. Now we can use this data and we know the equation, that is Vf is equals to Vi plus At. This is the equation, first equation. So we can say that final velocity is 0, initial velocity is 7.5, acceleration is negative 3, and time, we have to find out the time. So if we rearrange it, so time, so we can say that negative 7.5 is equals to negative 3 into t, which means that negative 7.5 divided by negative 3, 5 by 2. 5 by 2 means that this will be equals to 2.5 seconds. So time will be equals to 2.5 seconds. So this will be the final answer. I hope that the concept is clear. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. A particle P is projected vertically upward from horizontal down with the speed 15 meters per second. Find the speed of P when it is 10 meters above the ground. 10 meters above the ground. So we have to find the speed when it is 10 meters above the ground. Now first of all, let's draw the diagram and let's assume the case. Now let's suppose this is the particle P and it is projected vertically upward. So if it is projected vertically upward, so it means that at some point, after some point, it will comes back. So we can see here that this is the direction is upward and then the direction is downward. Now we have to find the speed when the height is 10 meter above the ground. So let's say that this is the height which is 10 meters above the ground. This is the case that at this point, let's say the distance is 10 meters above the ground. So from here we can see that initial velocity is 15 meters per second. So, and as it is going upward, so acceleration will be equals to negative 10 meters per second square because it is going upward. Then the distance is 10 meters and we don't know the final velocity, and we have to find out that one we have to find out the v. So just simply use the equation, that is v square is equals to u square plus 2as. So here we can see that v square will be equals to u is 15 square plus 2, a is minus 10 and s is 10. So just find out here, from here we can say 15 square plus 2 into minus 10 into 10, let me write, into 10. This will be equals to 25 and then take the square root of this thing. So this will be equals to 5. So finally u or speed will be equals to 5 meters per second. So this will be the final answer. I hope that the concept is clear. Let's move on to the next part. Part B. At the same instant that P is projected, that at the same instant, let me highlight the important, at the same instant that P is projected, a second particle Q is dropped from a height of 18 meters above the ground in the same vertical line as P. Find the height above the ground at which the two particles collide. Now let's draw the diagram first so that we can clearly understand the question. The question here is that this is the ground level and at this point there is a particle P. We can write it, we can mention it here, and these two are in the same vertical line, so they are in the same line. So this will be particle Q and this will be at this point these two collide, so they are moving in the same direction, okay, and the total distance is till this point, this will be equals to 18 meters. This will be the length, and at the velocity of Q, u is equals to 0 meters per second, and as it is going downward, so downward velocity को हम positive ले लेते हैं and upward velocity को हम negative ले लेते हैं. Now as we can see here that at the same instant, what does it mean? It means that at the same instant means that time is common for both particles. And the second thing that is the important thing is that be very careful about the direction, as we are taking it positive and we have mentioned it here. So be very careful about the direction. Now let's deal these two particles separately. So particle Q, for particle Q we can see that u is initial velocity is 15, as we have discussed in the previous part, ये given था आपको, and the direction of A is -10. Now the next thing is acceleration will be equals to -10 meters per second square, and as we know that this will be they started at the same instant, both particles started at the same instant, so we can say that the time for the particle p, this will time for the particle p will be equals to t. And as what about the distance? So this, let's say the distance covered by the particle q will be represented by sq, and the distance covered by the particle p will be represented by sp. So we can say that sp plus sq will be equals to 18 because the total distance is 18. So this is the first equation. Now for particle q, let's see the particle q. Now for particle q, let's write the distance. U is equals to 0. This is the data. A is equals to 10 meters per second because हम इसकी per second square, because A इसको हम डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन इसको पॉजिटिव ले रहे हैं और अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन को नेगेटिव ले रहे हैं. So be very careful about the direction, and the distance covered time will be equals to t because इसी पॉइंट को ही कंसिडर करें तो टाइम दोनों का सेम है, तो हम इसको t से ही रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. So here again we can see that s cube plus sp will be equal to 18. So now what we can do is we can use the formula s is equals to ut plus half at square, because हमें ये पता है कि हमने जो फाइंड करना है वो टोटल हाइट फाइंड करनी है, द हाइट अबव द ग्राउंड एट विच टू पार्टिकल्स कोलाइड. इसका मतलब ये है कि हमने जो एस पी की हाइट है ये फाइंड करनी है, तो ये हमारा मेन टारगेट है. सो इसको अब हमें इक्वेशन भी पता चल गई और दोनों पार्टिकल्स के बारे में भी हमें पता चल गया, डेटा पता चल गया. अब हम लिख सकते हैं कि हमें ये पता है कि एस पी प्लस एस क्यू इज इक्वल्स टू 18. सो अगर इसी क्वेश्चन में इस इक्वेशन को यूज़ करेंगे, सो एस पी का डेटा हम पहले लिखें तो ये क्या हो जाएगा. लेट मी सी द डेटा. ओके, अब एस पी में इनिशियल वेलोसिटी क्या थी 15 इंटू टाइम क्या है t प्लस 1/2. ए क्या था आपके पास -10 इंटू टी क्या है आपके पास टी स्क्वेयर ही रहेगा, प्लस ये तो हमारे पास एस पी था प्लस एस क्यू. अब एस क्यू का डेटा में देखें तो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी क्या थी आपके पास 0 t प्लस हाफ ए टी 10 इंटू टी इज इक्वल्स टू 18. अब इसको सिंप्लीफाई करें तो दिस विल बी इक्वल्स टू दिस थिंग इज इक्वल्स टू 18. सो इसको अगर हम उस साइड इसको हम लिखें तो 20t माइनस 5t स्क्वेयर इज इक्वल्स टू 18. इसको इक्वेशन की दूसरी तरफ ले जाएं तो 5t स्क्वेयर माइनस 20t प्लस 18 इज इक्वल्स टू 0. तो अब हम कैलकुलेटर को यूज़ करके डायरेक्टली इस क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन को अगर सॉल्व करें तो शिफ्ट 5 3. Now a is 5, b is -20 and c is 18. So this will be equals to there is a slight mistake that this will be equals to t square, so this will be 5t square. Let me now this will be, we can cancel out these two, 5t square and minus 5t square. So 15t is equals to 18. So t will be equals to 18 divided by 15. So this will be equals to 1.2. So time will be equals to 1.2 seconds. Now we have to find out the height. नाउ हाइट फॉर एस पी, सो एस पी के लिए अगेन ये फॉर्मूला यूज करें, सो एस पी विल बी इक्वल्स टू, बिकॉज हमने एस पी फाइंड करना है, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी क्या थी इसकी 15, लेट मी चेंज द कलर तो ताकि विजिबल हो आपको, 15 इंटू टी, इन टी क्या है 1.2 प्लस 1/2 इंटू 10, तो ये -5 t square means 1.2, this will be -5 -5. Now we can use the calculator to find out this thing. 1.2 into 15 minus 5 into 1.2 square. So the final answer will be 10.8 meters. So height will be equals to 10.8 meters. So this will be the final answer. We have to find the total height at which these two collide. So this is the height of SP. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Question number 3. A particle moves in a straight line starting from rest from a point O. The acceleration of the particle at time t for t seconds after leaving O is a meter per second square, where a is equals to this thing. Find the speed of the particle when time is 9. Now as we know that when we have distance given and we have to find out this speed, when we have distance given to us and we have to find the speed, then we and when velocity is given and अगर acceleration find करना हो तो हम differentiation को use करते हैं, और अगर यही reverse process हो तो फिर हम integration को use करते हैं. अब इस केस में आप देखें acceleration is given to us and we have to find the speed, which means we have to use the integration. Now acceleration is equals to a is equals to integral of a is equals to 4t power 1/2. So integral of, take integral on both sides with respect to t. So this will be, v will be equals to 4 into t power 1/2 plus 1 divided by 1/2 plus 1. So this will be equals to 3/2, which means v will be equals to 4 into 2/3 into t power 3/2 plus c. Please do not ignore this one. Now what we have to do, we have to find the value of c. So from the main equation we can see that when time is 0, velocity will be 0. So what does it mean? It means that we can just put the values over here. So 0 is equals to 8/3 into 0 power 3/2 plus c, which means c will be equals to 0. Now keep this thing in your mind कि ये वर्किंग शो करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. ऑल्दो कि c की वैल्यू 0 आ रही है, so but you must show this working. ये वर्किंग शो करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, अदरवाइज आपको इसका 1 मार्क नहीं मिलेगा. इससे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा बिकॉज सी की वैल्यू 0 ही आ रही है, बट फिर भी आपको ये वर्किंग अपनी ज़रूर शो करनी है. नाउ हियर वी कैन सी दैट स्पीड ऑफ द पार्टिकल एंड टाइम इज़ 9. So when time is 9, what will be the speed? Equation क्या थी आपका? V is equals to 8/3 into t power 3/2. So इसमें पुट करें V is equals to 8/3 into 9 power 3/2. 9 को हम डायरेक्टली 3 स्क्वायर लिख देते हैं. तो 9 को हम डायरेक्टली 3 स्क्वायर लिखें और ये कैंसिल आउट कर दें. सो दिस विल बी इक्वल्स टू, अब हम डायरेक्टली v विल बी इक्वल्स टू 8/3 इंटू 3 क्यूब. एक इसको यहाँ से कैंसिल कर देते हैं. सो v इज इक्वल्स टू 8 इंटू 9. So which means that velocity will be equals to 72 meters per second. So this will be the final answer. Let's move on to the part B. Find the time of the particle, or find the time after leaving O at which the speed in meters per second and the distance traveled in meters are numerically equal. Now what the numerically equal, and the second thing is that the distance traveled are numerically equal. Now distance traveled are numerically equal. Now numerically equal means first of all we have to find out the distance. So distance find करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? Velocity की equation हमें पता है और डिस्टेंस फाइंड करना है, तो वी हैव टू इंटीग्रेट इट अगेन. सो v इज इक्वल्स टू 8/3 t power 3/2. so take integral on both sides. So this will be equals to s is equals to 8/3 into t power 5/2 whole is divided by 5/2. तो इसको अगर हम सिंप्लीफाई करें, so s will be equals to 16/15 into t power 5/2 plus c. So we cannot ignore the c. So as we can see that since t is equals to 0, at t is equals to 0, s will be equals to 0. So 0 is equals to 16/15 into 0 power 5/2 plus c, which means that c will be equals to 0. So please keep this thing in your mind, that must show this working, must show this working. Now we can write it as that s is equals to 16/15 t power 5/2 plus 0. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि s will be equals to 16/15 t power 5/2. ये तो आपकी s की वैल्यूज आ गई. Now what they say कि these two are after the time find the time after leaving O at which the speed and the distance are numerically equal. So speed आपके पास ये है, ये distance आपके पास ये है, और speed आपके पास लास्ट पार्ट में आया हुआ सॉल्व किया हुआ था आपने. स्पीड आपके पास थी 8/3 t power 3/2 is equals to 16/15 t power 5/2. तो स्पीड और जो डिस्टेंस है ये दोनों क्या हैं? इक्वल हैं. तो इसका मतलब ये है, इस स्टेटमेंट का मतलब ये है, इस स्टेटमेंट का ये मतलब है. नाउ अब हम डायरेक्टली कैलकुलेट करके टाइम फाइंड कर सकते हैं. So we can remove this, simply rearrange it. So time will be equals to, now here we can see that सबसे पहले तो न्यूमेरिकल्स को एक तरफ लेकर आ जाएं. So this will be equals to 15 into 8 divided by 3 into 16 t power 3 by 2 is equals to t power 5 by 2. So 3 ones are 3 twos, 3 ones are 3 fives are 15, and then 8 ones are 8 twos are, so 5 by 2 t power 3 by 2 is equals to t power 5 by 2. Take square on both sides. Take square on both sides. So this will be equals to 25 by 25 by 25 by 4 t power 3 is equals to t power 5. तो इसको मुझ साइड पे ले जाएं तो 25 by 4 is equals to t power 5 divided by t cube. ये कैंसिल आउट कर दें, स्क्वायर आ गया, अगेन टेक स्क्वायर रूट ऑन बोथ साइड. So this will be equals to take square root on both side. 25 by 4 is equals to t square है, कैंसिल आउट हो गया. तो फाइनली t will be equals to, तो इसका आंसर क्या होगा, स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 25 divided by 4. So this will be equals to 5 by 2, which means 2.5 seconds. So 2.5 seconds will be the final answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. A toy railway locomotive of mass 0.8 kg is towing a truck of mass 0.5 kg on a straight horizontal track at a constant speed of 2 meters per second. So constant speed का मतलब तो ये है कि acceleration is 0. Now there is a constant resistance force of magnitude 0.2 newtons. So constant resistance force of 0.2 newtons on the locomotive, but no resistance force on the truck. This is a very important point. There is a light rigid horizontal coupling connecting the locomotive and the truck. State the tension in the coupling. So now सबसे पहले तो हम इसकी कुछ कीवर्ड्स को हम देख लेते हैं कि लाइट रिजिड. सबसे पहले तो कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन का मतलब क्या है कि एक्सेलरेशन कांस्टेंट स्पीड मींस एक्सेलरेशन इज 0. ओके, नाउ अब आपके पास इसकी ऑल्दो के डायग्राम की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, बट हम डायग्राम हमेशा कोशिश करेंगे कि हर केस के अंदर डायग्राम बनाएं. दिस वन इज ट्रक एंड दिस वन इज द लोकोमोटिव, और ये कनेक्टेड है और ये टेंशन की डायरेक्शन इसमें इस तरफ होगी, और लोकोमोटिव के हिसाब से टेंशन की डायरेक्शन इस तरफ होगी. नाउ ट्रक के लिए क्या था, ट्रक के लिए अगर हम देखें कि नो रेजिस्टेंस फोर्स ऑन द ट्रक, इट मींस कि आर विल बी इक्वल्स टू 0. इसको रेजिस्टेंस फोर्स से शो कर देते हैं. एंड फॉर लोकोमोटिव के लिए क्या है आपके पास, दिस विल बी 0.2 न्यूटन्स, और ड्राइविंग फोर्स इस डायरेक्शन में है, ड्राइविंग फोर्स. ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स? ओके, एक चीज़ ये है कि लाइट रिजिड फोर्स का मतलब क्या है. देयर इज अ लाइट रिजिड हॉरिजॉन्टल कपलिंग कनेक्टिंग. इसका मतलब ये है कि इस केस में आपके पास क्या होगा, तो यहाँ लिख देते हैं. इस केस में लाइट रिजिड के केस में समटाइम द टेंशन इज नेगेटिव. तो टेंशन नेगेटिव आ सकती है, सो इससे आपने परेशान नहीं होना. और एक चीज़ और याद रखें कि इफ़ टेंशन इज नेगेटिव, it means then it is a thrust. it is a thrust. Okay. Now in part B, find the power produced by the locomotive engine. So power produced by the locomotive engine means P is equals to driving force into velocity. और ड्राइविंग फोर्स क्या है? ड्राइविंग फोर्स के लिए हम प्रीवियसली हमें देखें तो ट्रक को देखा था. नाउ सी लोकोमोटिव. तो लोकोमोटिव को हम देखेंगे इस वक्त. सो एफ इज इक्वल्स टू एम ए. एफ इज द फॉरवर्ड फोर्स विच इज द ड्राइविंग फोर्स minus backward force which is the tension is equals to ma. m is locomotive का mass कितना था? 0.8 और acceleration is 0 because constant speed थी, इस वजह से acceleration 0 है. So driving force will be equals to tension in the tension of the locomotive. So driving force will be equals to, now tension कितनी थी locomotive की? That is that बैकवर्ड फोर्स कितनी थी? बैकवर्ड फोर्स आपके पास थी 0.2. इसको हम टेंशन नहीं लिखेंगे, इसको हम बैकवर्ड फोर्स लिखेंगे. फोर्स बैकवर्ड जो रेजिस्टिव फोर्स है आपके पास 0.2 न्यूटन. सो 0.2 न्यूटन. सो जस्ट पुट इट इन द वैल्यू इन द फॉर्मूला. सो 0.2 इनटू वेलोसिटी क्या है लोकोमोटिव की? वेलोसिटी थी आपके पास 2. So which means that power will be equals to 0.4 watts. So this will be the final answer. Let's move on to the next part. The power produced by the locomotive engine is now changed to 1.2 watts. Now this is an important point, that the power has been changed. Now let's use the same formula, that power is equals to driving force into velocity. Now now power is 1.2. We don't know the driving force, and velocity is 2. So which means driving force will be equal. Now we have to find the value of tension in the coupling at the instant that begins to accelerate. Okay, begins to accelerate के लिए. So driving force will be equal to 1.2 divided by 2. This should be equal to 0.6. 0.6 Newton will be the driving force now. Now we will see both of these objects. First of all, let's see the locomotive. Now for locomotive, what we will do, we can see that F is equals to ma. As we have now it is about to accelerate, so we cannot ignore the tension. So tension तो 0 कब थी? जब वो एक्सेलरेट नहीं कर रहा था. अब इसमें फॉरवर्ड फोर्सेस क्या है आपके पास? ड्राइविंग फोर्स माइनस जो रेजिस्टिव फोर्स थी, रेजिस्टिव फोर्स माइनस टेंशन. तो इसको हम इन दोनों फोर्सेस को ऐड करके माइनस करेंगे, या हम डायरेक्टली ही नेगेटिव साइन लिख सकते हैं. माइनस टेंशन इज इक्वल्स टू ma. So driving force will be equals to, अब mass क्या था आपके पास लोकोमोटिव का? 0.8 a. टेंशन हमें नहीं पता बिकॉज अब टेंशन 0 नहीं रही. प्लस t प्लस फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स. फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स कितनी थी? 0.2. और अब आपके पास जो ड्राइविंग फोर्स है वो भी आपको पता थी, वो 0.6 है, जो हमने प्रीवियस पार्ट में फाइंड की हुई है प्रीवियसली. सो वी कैन राइट इट एज, इसको हम रीअरेंज अगर करें तो 0.4 माइनस टी इज इक्वल टू 0.8 a. सो ये इक्वेशन आ गई. नाउ लेट्स सी द सेकेंड वन. for truck, for truck। अब ट्रक के लिए अगर हम F इक्वल्स एम को अप्लाई करें तो ट्रक के ऊपर दो फोर्सेस एक्ट कर रही हैं, एक टेंशन है, एक रेजिस्टिव फोर्स है। रेजिस्टिव फोर्स को अब हम, तो दिस विल बी फॉरवर्ड फोर्स माइनस बैकवर्ड फोर्स इज इक्वल्स टू, ट्रक का आपके पास मास कितना था, ट्रक का मास 0.4 kg, so it means that 0.4 into A, और इसको अगर हम रीअरेंज करें बिकॉज रेजिस्टिव फोर्स ट्रक के लिए तो 0 थी, so T will be equals to 0.4 A. This will be the equation 2, this will be equation 1. So simply put equation 2 in 1, इक्वेशन 2 को अगर हम 1 में पुट करें तो आपके पास क्या आ जाएगा, लेट्स सी इक्वेशन 2, 0.4 माइनस टी, टी की वैल्यू क्या थी आपके पास 0.4 है, 0.4 A is equals to 0.8 A। नाउ ये क्या होगा आपके पास, 0.4 is equals to 0.8 A plus 0.4 A, so A will be equals to 0.4 is equals to, this should be 1.2 A, तो इसको चेक कर लेते हैं, 0.4 plus 0.8, this will be equals to 1.2, so 0.4 divided by 1.2, so acceleration will be equals to 1/3 meters per second square. So tension will be equals to, now we have to find the value of tension. So as we know that from equation 2, tension will be equals to what, टेंशन की वैल्यू आपके पास थी 0.4 into A, so tension will be equals to 0.4 into A की वैल्यू 1/3, so tension will be equals to 1/3 multiplied by 0.4, the final answer will be 2/15 newtons, so 2/15 newtons, so this will be the final answer, और इसी को ही हम फाइनल आंसर कंसिडर करेंगे बिकॉज दिस विल बी द एग्जैक्ट आंसर। दैट इज़ इट फॉर टुडे। टुडे वी हैव डिस्कस्ड Feb March 2023 पेपर 4-2, और उसके हमने क्वेश्चन 1 से लेके क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 तक डिस्कस किए हैं। रिमेनिंग जो क्वेश्चन हैं, लास्ट 3 क्वेश्चन वो हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में डिस्कस करेंगे। इफ़ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन यू कैन आस्क इट इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। Thank you.